and welcome to our webinar on the new tools now available in Peel.CAD Pro. I'm Marcio Knapik, Sales Application Engineer for Peel 3D, and I will be moderating this webinar while my colleague Gabriel Williams will be presenting the new features. We are excited to share some great new tools now available on Peel.CAD Pro. So before we begin, please note that we are recording this webinar and we will be able to share it along with some questions and answers at the end. Speaking of questions and answers, please find the Q&A button in the meeting window. So if you have any questions during the presentation, you may ask them at any time. We will go over each question at the end, and if we don't have time to answer everything, we will email you directly to answer your question after the meeting. So let's get started.
Thank you, Marcio. So in today's session, we're going to focus on the modeling functions and how they integrate with standard CAD tools to give you more control, flexibility, and efficiency when working with the scan data. Before I share those new CAD tools that are now available in Peel.CAD Pro, I want to do a quick recap of how Peel.CAD Pro has been helping you convert scans to CADs since March of this year. The additional modeling tools in our software have greatly streamlined design workflows. We can now go one step further into the design process within the same ecosystem. The learning curve is smoother and more intuitive, allowing you to transition seamlessly from scan data to CAD. By embedding modeling capabilities such as AutoSketch, CAD to scan 3D color map comparison, and STL import, we're enabling designers to work smarter, faster, and with greater accuracy. So now that I've touched on a few of the things that Peel.CAD Pro can do, let's talk more about some additional tools that make the Peel.CAD Pro software even more powerful. Whether reverse engineering a complex part or preparing a model for manufacturing, we've added new tools designed to accelerate your workflow, improve surface quality, enable manufacturing operations on models. But yeah, so let's take this skateboard as an example. It's complex geometry with double curvatures and smooth transitions. This might make it impossible to model using simple extrusions alone. So this is where Scan2CAD Pro's surface tools come into play. We'll walk through how functions like trim, extend, and thicken allow you to recreate the deck accurately and efficiently. You'll see how these tools simplify the process and give precise control over the final CAD model. And by the end of the session, you'll have a clear understanding of how these features can streamline your workflow, improve design accuracy, and reduce post-processing time when it comes to organic surfaces, such as this one. So let's take a look at the new surface tools that are now part of your Peel.CAD Pro toolbox. Thicken. Give a surface volume by turning it into a solid body with a defined wall thickness. It's great for prototyping or for manufacturing. Trim. Cut surfaces using other surfaces. This is essential for shaping parts to match design intent. Stitch. Combine multiple surfaces into a watertight solid, ideal for CAD export or simulation. Offset. Create a parallel surface at a defined distance. Great for shelling, clearance checks, or design envelopes. Extend. Grow a surface beyond its current boundary, perfect for filling gaps or preparing for trimming operations. Remove face. Remove unwanted faces like scan artifacts or features you plan to redesign, while still maintaining that surface continuity. This can be used to delete individual unwanted surface patches created by our AutoSketch or our Auto Surface function. And finally, fill face. Patch holes or missing areas in a surface model with smooth curvature matched geometry. I'm sure you're all excited about these new features and can't wait to try them out, but there's even more still. What's even more exciting is that most standard CAD tools are now available for surface models in Peel.CAD Pro. This means that Peel.CAD Pro users can now extrude a surface or edge to create a new geometry, revolve a profile around an axis to form complex shapes, mirror surfaces or features across a plane, pattern surfaces linearly or radially, fillet or chamfer edges for smoother transitions, and compare tool is also functional with the surfaces that you create. Our legacy surface entity functions are now included in the modeling toolbar and create editable CAD surfaces. These tools bring Peel.CAD Pro closer to a full-featured CAD environment, allowing you to do more without switching platforms. So let's take a moment to highlight two particularly impactful additions in this release. One of the most requested enhancements is now here. We can now apply a draft angle directly within the extrusion function. This is a game changer for those of you working in mold design, injection molding, or casting, where draft angles are essential for manufacturability. This makes the modeling process more efficient and aligns Peel.CAD Pro even more closely with traditional CAD workflows. We've also added a brand new primitive to the entity library, the torus. This addition expands our ability to model rounded ring-like geometries, useful in applications like piping. It's a small but powerful addition that gives you more flexibility when building or reconstructing geometry from scanned data. These two features reflect our ongoing commitment to making Peel.CAD Pro a complete CAD-capable environment, not just for converting scanned data, but for refining and preparing it for real-world use. Now, let's walk through a real-world example using the new surface modeling tools in Peel.CAD Pro. In this case, we'll be recreating a skateboard deck from scanned data. In this example, we've previously aligned the part with two symmetry planes down the middle of the skateboard. Remember, the alignment is the foundation of your project. Following that, I created a quick sketch based off of the silhouette view from the XY plane using the spline tool. However, you may opt for automatic sketching feature depending on your preference. There are so many different ways to create a sketch, so just choose whichever tool you prefer. Once the sketch was completed, we used the extrusion function to extrude the sketch profile into a surface. This surface defines the contour of the deck. I also selected both directions to make sure it intersects with my next single patch operation. This sketch extrusion will later be used to trim our overall shape in an upcoming step. So next here, I'm generating a single patch to establish the overall shape of the deck. You could choose the number of control points if you want to increase your accuracy, but after evaluating the single patch, we can accept and close the function. Using the trim tool, I intersected both surfaces to form the final shape. Once the cutout is made, we want it to become a solid by using the thicken function. This function will give a uniform thickness to our surface, representing the real case of our skateboard deck. You may conclude by adding fillets or checking a color map to ensure your accuracy. In this brief video, I'm simply demonstrating the new capability to delete patches created by the automatic surface function. And we'll then use the fill face function to rectify them. Simply select an edge of the face you are wanting to fill, and then the software will fill in the boundary. You can notice the surface switching from teal to gray, confirming our design has turned from surface to solid. And then now in this video, the last few tools that I want to show are the offset, extend, reverse normal, and stitch. Here I'm showing how you can click on an edge of a surface and extend that surface in a similar direction as where it was going. Or you can click on the face to extend it from all sides. Then offset will allow you to click on any surface and offset it by any amount. Here we're doing 10 millimeters because that's about the thickness of the board. Then we can click on the bottom surface to flip it inside out using the reverse normal tool. Okay, skipping ahead, the extruded sketch that we had earlier is now going to be cut with the top and bottom surfaces of the skateboard. Since that thin edge, once we choose it there, since that thin edge right there is inside out or reversed, we're also going to use the reverse normal tool. And then finally, we'll stitch it all together to make it a solid. So let's take a step back and take a final look at some of the main ways Peel.CAD Pro supports you in your product development projects. Keep in mind that we are continuously working on developing new tools, which will enhance our, our value proposition. So let's just say that we're working on a few extra items here and there to fill in the gaps. So for surface tools, that's what we covered today. The advanced surfacing and patching tools, which include things like extend, offset, stitch, thicken, and more. Then the modeling features. So since March, we've been able to do full parametric modeling with history tree and feature recognition. Things like quick primitives, where you can quickly select planes and spheres and so on. Sketching, smart sketching that snap to the part, and auto sketching, and the ability to create constraints within your sketches. Scan to CAD comparison. This will allow you to compare your CAD model that you're building as you're building it and compare it to your scan, ensuring accuracy with that color map. And then compatibility. With the Peel.CAD Pro, you can import STLs or CAD files, so you can still compare your CAD model to your STLs. All right, so thank you for your time and your attention. We'd love your feedback on these new tools, what's working, what could be better, and what you'd like to see next. Thank you for joining and happy modeling. So with that, I'll open it up for questions. So I'll let Marcio take it from here.
Hello. Gabi, we have one question here. What file formats does Peel.CAD Pro support for import and export?
So Peel.CAD Pro can import any STL or step or IGES file. You can do OBJ as well. And then it can export also STL, OBJ, step, and IGES.
Second question, do I need CAD experience to start using Peel.CAD Pro?
You don't need CAD experience. That's because we have a lot of great training tools. So as you're going through the entire software, you'll be able to see little videos pop up when you hover over different buttons. But also we have the e-learning and the tutorials available right from the homepage. So you can do the projects. For example, we have like a gear reconstruction tool where we give you an STL of a broken gear, and then we take you step by step on how you would create a CAD for that broken gear.
Another question, does Peel.CAD Pro work with all Peel scanners or only specific models?
So the Peel.CAD Pro, the CAD part of it, can import any STL. So really it can do any Peel scanners at all. Yeah.
How do I upgrade Peel.CAD or to Peel.CAD Pro?
If you want to upgrade from your Peel.CAD or even your Peel 2 CAD, you could contact us. You can reach out to us and then we can send you a quote. As soon as you complete the payment, it will show up in your portal so you can install it.
There's another question. Do you have any data on time savings versus a generic modeling from scans within things like Scan to 3D in SolidWorks?
Do you have any data? Sorry, I don't think I understand the question. So do you have any data on time savings versus generic modeling. Oh, okay. So it's not just the time savings, but it's also the accuracy that we're looking at. So when you're looking at the Scan to CAD Pro or the Peel.CAD Pro, there's things like that you don't have in SolidWorks to be able to create that scan to CAD conversion. One item, for example, is when we were doing the skateboard, clicking on that sketch, if you had noticed, it clicked like the mouse would move right to where the cross section was, making it more accurate. And then, so it snaps to the cross section. Second is you have the auto sketch tool, which automatically will sketch for you, and you can decide how accurate you want it to be. So you can tell the software plus or minus 0.3 millimeters, for example, and then it'll sketch something for you within that accuracy. And then the last item is that you have the comparison tool at the end. So you have the ability to create the CAD model. And then while you're creating the CAD model, you can check it to make sure that your scan to your CAD is accurate. And you can tell it if, let's say that the allowable tolerance for you has, that your CAD has to be plus or minus 0.5 millimeters of the scan, then you can set everything in the green zone to be plus or minus 0.5 millimeters. And if something is outside of that, you can check and say, oh, okay, now I need to make a fillet here, or this diameter isn't quite the size that I thought it was, and adjust from there. So that accuracy is a big one. And because of that accuracy being more prominent, you are saving a lot of time. As far as data goes, I don't think we do have any data to say which one is faster, because it always also depends on the part that you're designing and how many details it is, compared to any other part too. So yeah, good question. Sorry, I was very long-winded.
There is another question here. I understand Peel.CAD Pro can export timeline to SolidWorks. How about SolidWorks for makers, including SolidWorks design for makers?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that one. Marcio, do you happen to know?
No,
Okay,
I have to
so
check with the R&D.
yeah, we'll check with R&D and we'll get back to you, Scott. Thank you for that question.
Other question, what is the main differences between Peel.CAD Pro and the basic Peel.CAD?
Okay, yes, Peel.CAD Pro allows you to create CAD models. So you can actually start creating your sketches and then extruding or revolving, creating fillets, creating, and then comparing the CAD model. And you can import an STL. So from any Peel scanner you have, you can import an STL, and then you can work from there and you can compare it. The Peel.CAD, not the Pro version, that one allows you to extrude, it allows you to extract cross sections, planes, circles, lines, points, surfaces, but you can't edit those surfaces. For example, you can't, like how we showed today in the webinar, and you can't create an actual CAD model based off of that in our software. You would have to export those items into your specific CAD software, whether that's SolidWorks, Fusion, Inventor, or anything else from there. So, yeah.
All right. No more questions.
No more questions? Okay. Well, there's no more questions. Well, thank you everybody for this, for your time. We really appreciate you joining us. Once again, this recording, this will be recorded, or this is recorded, and it will be online for you guys to see at a later time. Thank you so much. Have a great day,
Thank you all.
everyone.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.